decision-making is definitely impacted by his injury. He's more harsh and unforgiving, and perhaps less subtle and wise because of the pain in his leg. And Ned sort of defiantly says that, well, look, if Tywin wants to be pissed off about me bringing rightful justice onto the head of the mountain, then he can take it up to the bloody King Robert, because me and Robert are like this, we're BFFs to the end, mate. So King Robert's got my back. And of course, Robert's kind of a shitty ally. Robert's a bit of a shitty king, a bit of a shitty political player, and he's not much of a wingman. He hasn't really got Ned's back in this situation. And Ned goes so far as to say that Robert would enjoy waging war on Tywin if Tywin was to dispute the justice of killing biblical gain. So Ned's talking some pretty big words for someone who's only got half a leg at the moment. Ned's talking some pretty serious smack, which is probably very unwise saying that shit to Pycelle, who Ned knows well is a Lannister toady. No doubt Pycelle will be relaying all of this to Cersei. So this is basically a terrible idea what Ned's doing. But yeah, Ned does think to himself, yeah, Pycelle's gonna say all this shit to the Queen, and also Ned admits that he's not quite as Robert as he pretends. So Ned's trying to put on a brave face, possibly wrongly, and so when Pycelle leaves, Ned tries to have a little think in his nitty little noggin, and he's really trying to sort out the maths. He's calculating the vectors of probability. He's trying to strategize here, and he's trying to think. He's finding it difficult to think with the pain and the painkillers, the meds Pycelle's given him, and the wine that's clouding his mind. And he tries to think, what would Jon Arryn do in this situation? Because of course Jon Arryn was like a father figure to Ned because he grew up in Erie with Robert as a foster. And he thinks, what would Jon Arryn do? WWJD. What would Jon do? He thinks. So Jon Arryn was reputedly quite a wise and sensible bloke. Sadly, his influence has gone after his death. And he reflects on the truth that he's just finally realized in the last chapter. After Sansa said that Joffrey is not at all like Robert, Ned finally realized that Joffrey is in fact not Robert's son. He is a child of Lannister incest. And so Ned reflects on the gravity of that secret. He assumes that the reason why Jon Arryn was killed is that Jon Arryn uncovered this secret. That Jon Arryn and in his partnership with Stannis Baratheon had that Joffrey was a child of innocence, which indeed Jon and Stannis did, I think. And Ned assumes that the reason why Jon Arryn was killed was for knowing that secret, that he was killed by the Lannisters. Although, of course, that's not strictly true. Jon wasn't killed by the Lannisters. He was killed by Peter, more for the goal of creating conflict between the Lannisters, and also, you know, as part of his machinations in the Vale, getting Lysa and all that shit. So it's not entirely clear if Ned's correct in thinking that the Lannister incest is the secret that killed Jon Arryn, but whatever, he is correct to identify the gravity of this fact. And then Littlefinger knocks on the door. Knock, knock. And Littlefinger comes in, being all fucking smarmy and smiley, as he is. And he goes, and he sort of blathers on about, oh, I'm going to go to a feast tonight with Lady Tanda Stokeworth, because of course Tanda is trying to convince Littlefinger to marry her daughter Loras or whatever. They're going to have a packet task with dinner tonight, and it's going to be so delicious. So it's kind of hilarious that hilarious / enraging / joke, that while Ned is dealing with all this heavy shit, Littlefinger is sitting back enjoying some fatted carbs, having some nice meals. when of course Ned, the situation that Ned is in is partly engineered by Littlefinger. So Littlefinger has engineered this conflict between Stark and Lannisters by doing things like lying about the knife that's Tyrion. Littlefinger's caused all this mess, and meanwhile he's just sitting back, eating some delicious food, and just watching the fireworks that he set up. So there is no character more smug than Peter Lannister. Peter Baelish, sorry, Littlefinger. So that's happening. And Littlefinger makes all these irritating, sarcastic comments about how, hey Ned, if you wanted to keep that leg in one piece, how about you not let a horse in? He says, well, what? Don't let a horse fall on your leg next time, silly Ned. And Ned has no patience for this fucking irritating banter. And Littlefinger sort of emphasizes, ooh, shit's stirring, man, the pot's boiling, the realm grows restive, Varys is hearing ominous whispers, Tywin Lannister is gathering swords, which is all what Littlefinger wants, by the way, he all wants the war and the chaos, and Ned's like, by the way, where is the king right now? Shouldn't he be doing some kinging? All this shit's getting real, why isn't the king here to back me up, my wingman, Bobby B. Baratheon? But Peter's like, no, he's off hunting. He doesn't want to. King doesn't have time for politics. He's off hunting. This is like the equivalent of the president out golfing. The media love doing all those numbers on the number of days that the president has spent golfing in his presidential term, and having the king off hunting in the woods is the Westerosi equivalent of that. So the king is more interested in golf than politics. And Peter talks about how Robert just wants to kill stuff in the woods. And so, interestingly, one of the things that Robert and Joffrey share is a love for killing things. Joffrey really managed to get the best of the worst of both worlds from his supposed father, Robert Baratheon, and his actual parents, the Lannisters. He inherited all of the Lannister pride and sociopathic lack of empathy for non-Lannisters. But he also gained Robert's love for violence and killing, though none of his martial skill. Joffrey really is the worst. Like, he lost that genetic lottery so badly. Imagine it could have gone the other way. Imagine if Joffrey came out with all of the Lannister prettiness and intelligence, because you've got to admit that the Lannisters certainly are smart and sly, but he also came out with the Baratheon strength and integrity, if the Baratheons could be said to have integrity. The certain, they've got a certain chutzpah, you got to admit. They got a bit of go, the Baratheons do. They are of the storm and all that. Imagine if Joffrey was a good guy. This whole story would be so much more pleasant for everybody. What if Ned was like, well, Joffrey is an incest baby, but he's a pretty great bloke, and I'd like to go have a drink with him instead. Anyway, and so Peter's reporting on Robert's hunting movements, and he's saying, well, they were out to chase this white hart, this special shiny Pokemon, but the hart was killed by something else up there, and now Robert is chasing a monstrous boar deeper into the forest. They saw some monstrous boar, and Robert wants to kill it, which is of course the boar that ends up killing Robert. So there's an irony, or at least a sort of poetic loveliness to the fact that Robert is hunting down the thing that is to kill him. He is chasing his own death, which is something that many people do. Many people put a lot of effort into pursuing the thing that is their downfall. Robert caused his own death by stupidly blundering into an unnecessary fight. He drank himself to the grave. He whored and feasted and drank and hunted his way to the grave, as many people do with all of our own various sins and vices. Robert, like many, chases his own death. Freud, and that's Freud's death urge. Isn't that what he calls it? So Robert's off doing that, while Ned is left to deal with the serious shit that's going on in the realm. Except some of the people have come back from the hunt. Joffrey has returned, and Sandor has returned. Sandor is getting the hound. And Robert is concerned by Sandor coming back. And he also reflects that, like Peter Baelish points out, I wonder what Sandor Clegane thinks of Ned ordering Beric to kill Sandor's brother, Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, because of course Sandor hates his brother Gregor.
Fucking go, bitch! Let's go! Let's fucking go!